Alrighty. Hello, jury, and welcome to your roundtable. This has been a very long, hard, amazing first season, and now it is up to you guys to vote one of our final three, consisting of Brian, Eric, or Jason, to win this game. And you guys are gonna spend your time talking about them. So we love that. And yeah, for our moderator, we have our guest, which is Keaton, who is also known as a duck. And yeah.
Can't I forget that.
So now I'm gonna go ahead and take it over to Keaton, and he will take it from here.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I'm going to start this off by saying I have no idea what the hell has happened this entire season, so I'm completely unbiased. So sometimes I'll just be asking questions for my own clarity or because I'm curious, and hopefully it'll help you guys as we go through all of this. My first question, just generally, how do we feel about this final three? Do we feel like they're deserving as a whole? Is this underwhelming? Like, what, before we get into anyone specific, how do we feel about this group as a whole?
I'm disgusted.
It's a whole hodgepodge.
I have so many mixed feelings on everything.
I agree.
They exist.
So, Aston, how do you feel?
Well, two of them I'm okay with, but the other one I'm very disgusted with.
Girls say.
So is that a couple of, like, so is it like 2 for 3 is where it feels like?
Honestly, for me, it's 1 for 3.
1 for 3?
1 for 3.
I'm 2.
So strong feelings one way or the other. This is going to be fun.
Most of the jury knows why I have strong feelings against one player.
Girls saying.
Can we bring that up at some point? So
let's talk about it.
Honestly, I'm curious. Let's start there, and
We should start with that person.
Who is this person?
Eric.
Eric. Okay.
Correct.
We will start by talking about Eric then. Let's just go right to that. Okay. So, what exactly is the major issue that you have with Eric, Ashton?
I can answer for her.
I mean, what's the major issue with Eric in general? Like,
I don't like him. He played a dirty game. He was really nasty and very disrespectful.
Anyone else?
Aston can elaborate on that because
Yeah.
I can't really speak for her.
Yeah, Ashton, if you don't mind.
Well, throughout this game, he, like, I don't know how, he made me feel like he was harassing me. He was messaging me nonstop. I'm trying to control my emotions while I'm talking, sorry. Just like, he made me very uncomfortable. Like, I've already said he is not getting my vote 100%. Like, there's no way of changing that. You don't harass somebody in a game.
Okay. Hi. Well, first off, I'm sorry that it happened. I think that this is a game we should be able to enjoy ourselves. I'm sorry that you weren't able to with someone's actions. Let's talk about. We brought Eric up. Let's start talking about his game and how we feel about him. I want to start with more on the social side of things before we go into strategy. Like, how was he like, we've already heard a little bit regarding how he interacted with Ashton, but for the rest of you, how was he like talking to you? Did he seem receptive to conversation? Was he enjoyable to talk to? Like, how do we feel about him more as a talker rather than a strategist?
Well, from my perspective, I feel like he was very paranoid all the time. He was just really messy. And like, he would tell one person one thing and then go to another person and tell another thing. He was just telling unnecessary lies to people that didn't need to happen. Like, I understand this is an org when lies have to be fucking told to get ahead, but like, he just overdid it for no reason at all. Like, he just completely just ignored the fact that we're a jury and we're going to be deciding who wins.
I definitely feel like he was not super social. He was also definitely very busy, I know, at parts of the game. But I really feel like there was not a lot of like, I don't know if anybody else had this, but I don't feel like I really learned a lot about him other than he played games on Facebook.
Oh, I only have one word to describe him, and it's bland.
Zach, I've seen
Hold
that
on,
you.
I want Zach to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see.
so
Zach, you've been
I've-
looking like you want to talk.
Yeah. So I've been with Eric since OG Red Jaguars, and I barely got anything out of him until the merge. And going off of Lee's, not what did Lee say? Something about unnecessary lies. Basically, that happened to me twice. Once he told me and Jackson you want to get on call, knowing damn well who's going to vote Jackson out right after the tribal. And I've told him this. I go, I don't have a problem that you lied to me. I have a problem you unnecessarily lied to me. And that's how the whole Allie, me being a mess, flipping on anything happened. I can see if Jared can elaborate on this. He pulled me and Jared into a call. I was like, yeah, I want to vote Allie, Brian, I believe he said Brian and Jason was on board. So I go to Jason. I'm like, Jason, how pissed are you at Allie? And so that's when I was on call with Allie. And Allie was like, why did you throw me under the bus kind of thing? So it just was, what was the point of me being on there for an hour? Like there was none to elaborate on that. And basically, yeah, I learned nothing about him other than the night one call.
I will
So
say I did have long conversations with him, and I feel like I actually did get to know him. I was probably the only one. He told me about Canada, about him going to school, his family and stuff. So I actually did get to know him, but I knew that he didn't have great relationships with really anyone else. And Zach's point, I don't remember. I do remember we were on a long call just talking. And I messaged this last night. I was like, and just in general in the game, whenever it came with Jason and Allie, I never knew what their relationship was like and how close they actually were. So that I was always like hesitant on like, I don't know if Jason will actually vote Allie. And so when he actually did vote Allie in the double, I was kind of shocked that he was down for it.
okay.
Also, Lee, I was not a part of your blindside. I was shocked as you.
Okay, girl.
That's why I was like, I'm getting Allie.
Oh yeah,
out.
and about that, like Eric apparently made up some lie saying like I added him and Allie to a chat to monitor what he said, but like I never made an alliance chat with those three people. Like it was just unnecessary to tell like for some of the lies he
told me
told.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've gathered with Eric as far as sociability is concerned is that beyond Jared didn't really talk about himself. No one really got to learn about him as a person. And when it came to how he spoke to people, he just kind of said things for the sake of saying them. Is that a fair summary of what I've gathered from him?
Yes.
Yeah, I never heard anything about what happened with Aston until now. So that really shocked me.
He and I definitely had like a very weird relationship because right at merge, he wanted to target me because everybody told him that I had voted for him, like the first round of merge. Fun fact, I didn't. Fun fact, I told everybody and convinced everybody I voted Sierra. No, I voted Brian that round. I somehow convinced everybody I did Sierra, and I think I caused a lot of panic then. But I did not vote Eric, and I was like, I didn't do it. Like, I swear on my life. Like, but he was like, it was weirdly like, he was like, I understand I'm having a lot of conflicting feelings with this because like, obviously like I'm hearing this from a lot of people, but I'm hearing like, you're telling me something different. And so we had this very strange relationship where like, I genuinely never voted for him as far as I can remember. And so we never really knew, I think, like where we stood with each other. But then there were some rounds where like, we were totally like, all right, so we're voting this person out, right? Like, and we were completely honest with each other. So it was, but then other rounds we like would not say anything. So it was really weird.
Okay. I want to move more into how he was as a strategist and as a player. Let's, social strategic game. We need to be able to talk to people. We also need to be able to pull off moves. Do we think that Eric had a lot of pull strategically, that he was making moves, or is it very much with his aligned with how he was socially and just doing things because he could?
Can I start with this one?
Please.
At least from my perspective, he was very flip-floppy, which personally I don't mind because I enjoy being a flip-flop myself. It's just the fact that he did not have enough social capital to be the driving force of any moves. He would be a part of like a correct vote, but he would not be the one to like come up with the name or like to drive it home to get other people on board. He would just kind of be present.
Well, he was obsessed with me for whatever reason.
And it
Which is
speaks
funny because by the
volumes.
time he said your name was already the majority.
He got that from Allie, according to him.
Ah, that makes sense.
Jail
Alex,
That
time.
sounds about right. No, I mean, it's like, I think it speaks volumes that he was like one of the last people of his original tribes to make it as far as he did.
Mhm.
And I feel like that was very much like he didn't hold a lot of power. So he kind of was able to float a little bit more under the radar. Like there were bigger threats to take out. And I feel like that was a thing.
I don't know. I just feel like he was with me, and I kind of got him through.
So didn't really do much on his own to be able to pull any moves. If anything, the best way I feel like I can describe it as what I'm hearing is floated to the correct name, but wasn't the reason a name was ever done.
I would just say he was lucky. Very lucky.
And
Would
he
everyone
had
else agree with
Jared.
that?
He had Jared.
Lucky.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say lucky.
Luck.
I want to say a lot of it was luck and a lot of it was, it looks like he spent all of his like social capital into Jared.
Yeah.
And not the rest of us.
And I feel
I
like he
meant-
just got taken to the end because those other two people knew like he wasn't going to be like winning. So
I
he
want to know his relationship with Jason because they had supposedly a final three: Brian, Jason, and Eric. Supposedly, this is what I found out right before the Final Four tribal. So I want to know more about that and questioning because I don't know how they supposedly made it at merge, which I find questionable.
Jared, I have a question. Were you taking out Jason at 4 if you won immunity?
I wanted to Jason on a 5, then that got
Okay.
thrown out.
Because I
Um,
feel like if you were sitting next to Brian and Eric, you probably would have won.
My plan one was I wanted Jason out, but then Eric was just like, shut it down. He sent me a long message first, and then I told Jason I wasn't voting him because I was like, okay, I need to make it to the finals. So that's then Jason
Okay.
eventually sent me this long ass message and was like, I'm voting you. And Brian had already told me he was voting me, and I figured he was. So plan one was get rid of Jason. Plan two was get rid of Eric just to survive. And that's why I voted Eric, because I told Jason I wasn't voting him.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
But I tried to get Lyndon to Final Four. Well, to be known.
Okay, Queen.
We did make that attempt. If only Brian had not found out that you had multiple final threes going, I think Jason would have gone.
Yeah, because Eric was just like, I'm voting Lyndon. I'm not moving.
I was like, damn boy, I kept you safe. Like, I talked to you a lot about vote occasionally, but he sent me a very nice message when he was voting me out. So that was nice.
Okay, jury management.
I mean, it still like doesn't change a lot of my feelings.
I
but
know.
At least I heard from him. Cough.
Other than someone.
Other people. Cough.
Mm-hmm.
Lyndon really slayed me. She said she wasn't gonna vote for me, and then she did, and I was kind of slayed.
And then I tested positive for COVID, and they were like, "We're doing Lee," and I was like, "I feel sick as fuck. I'm so upset. We're just gonna go with it."
That was really funny.
I'm going to go back to a general for a moment just to get this part out of the way. Do we care about the physical portion of this game at all?
No.
Oh.
Not
No.
really.
No? Cool. Then we're going to forget that it mattered. Did any of them win immunities?
Jason won a
Individually.
whole bunch.
Jason technically won 3. I really counted as, you could count it as 3.
Yeah.
And
Jason-
then Brian won 2, Eric won 1.
Okay, cool. That's just my own knowledge. Thank you.
Well, what I will say is, the one that he did win basically was during Chain of Command. That was a social based comp. I will say that. No, he has to be doing
Yeah.
something right socially, even if it wasn't with me. He has to be doing something right socially to win that competition.
I thought Timmy was winning that, so I voted Jason.
No, there was no chance.
I was like, I'll just throw Jason a bone.
Yeah, I think you can kind of ignore a lot of the like physical part, because there were a lot of these or a lot of like the challenges that were a little more lucky.
Mhm.
Like
That fucking song challenge.
Yeah.
Jared out
Prison.
here getting 9 out of 10 questions right with no idea how.
I guess every single time.
So I think a lot of it was pretty luck based
Yeah.
Mhm.
a lot of the time.
Okay.
We hit endurance towards the end, and then like, good job, Brian, for holding a spoon in your mouth for.
Yeah, so you had a spoon in your mouth with an egg on it.
Oh, I hate that comp.
Yeah,
I could have gone
Jail.
longer, but I just
that's some
felt out.
skill. That's some
Gracie, you're
skill.
going to jail for that.
Like that's like the one thing I'd be like, that's kind of impressive.
Oh, yeah,
In
and
my
I won my immunity on my birthday after driving back from Alabama. Like literally just getting home.
Nice.
It was last
Honest-
night too.
Honestly, my
They have a live
opinion
night.
is like immunities don't matter to me. Like I feel like I would be more impressed if someone made it to the end without an immunity win while having a really good game.
Well, it was kind of strange because I realized that at the final 5, everyone had won an immunity.
And like alternatively, I think it's very impressive when somebody wins a bunch of immunities when their name is like right there.
Oh
on
yeah,
the
that
block.
too.
But I don't really think that was ever a thing this game.
No.
It wasn't. Jason was never really an option when he had his immunities.
And even when he didn't, like, we all vibed with him enough that we were keeping him around.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, Jason's name has somehow been brought up more while we were talking about Eric than Eric. So let's go to Jason, because it seems like he's had something to do with this game. Let's go 100%. Let's go right into the Jason's sociability throughout this game. How do we feel about Jason when it comes to talking to others?
They're more than Brian for me.
Well,
That's
that's a
much
low
for me.
bar.
When I was in the middle of dealing, like I think I had just tested positive for COVID, I believe. Or no, it was before I had tested positive. I was like 4 days deep into taking care of my partner while they had COVID, dealing with like the stress of their mom calling me all the time and being like, you have to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And like, you know, everybody texting me and being like, oh, how are they doing? And nobody really like focusing on like, nobody ever asked how I was doing. And it was like, it was a really big struggle. And like Jason like made me kind of get on call with him. And he was like, I want you to rant, like, tell me how you're feeling right now. Like, and so that was like a really big, like important thing for me this game, was having somebody. He was like, if you ever need to rant, just let me know. Cause like, I know that this is hard. And it was nice to have somebody like validate those feelings.
Yeah, and I feel like compared to the other two, Jason probably did have the best social game, because
Agreed.
I would always hear Eric say, well, I haven't really talked to them. I haven't really talked to them. Brian, I don't know who he talked to. And part of it, I think, goes to Jason's social game of Lyndon and him were passing the idol back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jail.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Half idol. Half
Half
idol.
idol.
My idol, my half idol, I
Girl.
regularly gave it to Jason because he was more likely to win things. Fun fact, we never actually switched it at the right time. So like I would have it when he won and he had it when I won, which sucked. But yeah, like I knew that he wasn't gonna like do anything with it. Like even if he like did keep it, I don't think it was worth the risk for him, because everybody kind of knew about the idol by like mid-merge. So if he had kept it to himself, I'd be like, he was holding on to this because I thought I was getting voted out, and now he still has it. And I feel like that would have like put a target on his back.
I will say he never, like, I was close with him. He never mentioned your idol to me or the idol that he failed during the Purple Parrots tribal. Like he never
was
mentioned an idol
very
to me.
good. If you asked him to keep a secret, he would not tell a soul. And that was amazing.
Yeah, I really think he played a genuinely like good social game. I don't feel like it was forced or like to have jury management or be game body or whatever. I feel like he was being genuine, and I respect that.
I was going to say, for me, it was barely existent, just for me personally. But I think I'm at a point where I can respect it because obviously he had good relationships with everybody else. You know what I mean? So that's just something I'm trying to keep in mind for myself. Because I talked to Eric the most, which wasn't a lot, again, so not saying much, but that's just where I'm at.
The other critique of his game was he was the first half until Aston finally left. He was always targeting Aston. Everybody would be like, are we getting out Aston? Are we getting out Aston? Are we getting out Aston? And he sent me a voice message one time, was like, I feel unheard. I always want it to be Aston, and then it is never them.
So, Jared, question, was that where that name was coming from whenever you told it to me? Was it coming from?
I mean, it was always to please him.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure the same was with Ali. Like the very generic names that I got thrown out to me every single week, Eric and Aston.
Yeah.
Every round.
Yeah.
Every single round. And I was like, well, no.
And so that's a flaw in his game, was just he was always mentioning Aston, and finally I was like, okay, we can get rid of them. I just need to appease you.
Ashton or Timmy, do you have anything to say on Jason, at least in this regard?
I do. I'm sorry, I was washing paintbrushes. It's been a long day. So Jason's game, out of the three, I feel like that's the one I can see the most, just because I talk to him the most. I didn't necessarily talk to him a lot always, but whenever I talked to him, he was very genuine and very nice. And I always just felt like comfortable when talking to him, which is really important, I feel like, in a game, because he's able just to kind of breathe for a second and just have real conversations, whether it's game or not. I don't care about physical. And then strategic, I didn't know about that with him always changing to Aston, so that does kind of knock him down a little bit. But also, I don't think it knocks him down as much as the others are already knocked down.
Ashton, anything you'd like to say?
Not really.
Okay. Let's delve a little more with Jason. With strategy, I'm hearing part of it was just saying Ashton's name. Apparently, do we have anything more involving Jason's game, or is it just an over obsession on them until they left?
So I do have something to add, and I don't know how true this is, but once again, this whole perception is that this also goes for Brian too. Their game wasn't their fluid. It seemed like, from my perspective, it was Jared, Jason, and Brian's basically sticking through till the end together, where Eric basically was able to weasel his way in. I just don't know. It's Survivor, and you need to be fluid, and that's my biggest gripe with the other two, specifically Jason and Brian. But
I mean, what I'll say about Jason is that, from what I heard, he did form a group chat of everyone minus, like, I think me and Zach and maybe one other person, maybe Aston, I don't know, to get Zach
off a plane. I got off a plane and was in that, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard about that from multiple people.
It was a made chat. I think it was literally called like Stanley Steamer's Carpet Cleaners.
Yeah,
It sure was.
And it was
My favorite
legitimately made. It was like, Zach is throwing out all of this stuff. Like, we need to get rid of him. And it was just a group of like a bunch of us.
Was there any communication with that group being made, or is it just like, fuck it, here it is?
I was
I
on a
think
plane.
a lot of
so
it had
for
been
me,
done
no.
over like DMs. Like, different people were talking to each other, and it was like in a big like star, like nobody was talking to the same people.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm making this chat. It was never used again, but it was made that round.
So, but my question is, how does that really show his fluidity in his game?
Was he fluid? Simply put.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really like
Was anyone in this game fluid? Let's put it at that. Was this a fluid game?
I mean, do we want to
Not
talk
really.
about me and Jason towards the end of the game?
Yes.
That's
where he and I played obviously very closely. He was a
Right.
very like sweet kind of mentor to me, but just like in game we would talk a lot. But as we got towards the
Oh,
end,
yes.
he started talking to me like less and less about game stuff, even like no matter what was going on, like he wasn't messaging me as much and like keeping me out of votes. And then even like the round he voted me out, like he didn't ever send me anything about it. I don't know if he really had that much time to do so, but like I sent him a message that was like, I think they're trying to get us to vote each other out. And he sent back, are they? But I feel like probably at that point he had already decided he was voting for me because that was like 20 minutes before votes.
That was a hot mess.
So it was definitely kind of like, it hurt to like, you know, Brian sent me a message moments before I left, like as the votes were being read, but obviously like he voted with me. Jared, I don't even know if you sent me anything, but we were talking on call that whole time.
Yeah, I didn't, but I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on voting you.
Yeah,
until
exactly. You weren't.
happened.
Eric sent me this like long message, like explaining why he was voting me. And then like Jason, I got nothing from. And it was very hard. Like I knew he was really busy that day, but like I know that he was planning on voting me probably more than 20 minutes before the vote, most likely.
So it stung.
So it definitely stung to have somebody that I'd worked with the entire game like not talk to me. And I'd say that was definitely a break in fluidity there, was like,
I'll ask something towards you in particular. Then does that situation from him to, like talking to you a lot about game, and then as it got closer, just kind of separate himself more and more? Does that impact where you are regarding if you're gonna give him your vote to win or not, or does that not really matter a
I
lot?
want to definitely like talk to him at the finals because like that was a very like kind of jarring thing because like I'd go to him after every vote and I'm like, Jason, why didn't you just tell me that's what was happening? And he's like, I'm so sorry, and like that would be it. So I definitely want to like talk to him a little bit at the end.
I don't think there was like, I tried to play a more fluid game, it probably didn't come off that way. That's why I tried to talk to everyone. The people who are left, I mean, we already talked about Eric and how he just went wherever. Brian just was told. And then Jason, same kind of thing of he just went with it. Like, I think the only name he really threw out there was Aston and Zach.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me just take a question generally about the three of them. Did any of them control a vote? Period. Like, were they the reason that something happened during any point of this game majorly?
The Zach one.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah, the
mine.
Zach one.
Only
That's-
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason
Only
towards
Jason.
Zach. Okay. Anything else? Literally the entire game from like
No.
before
No.
merge. No.
No.
No,
don't
I
know.
think back to OG Green Monkeys, and I
We only
remember
went to
talking
one
Brian.
tribal.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
we were
that
just
one was
like, yeah, we'll
easy.
do whatever.
I'm thinking back to OG Red. I'm thinking, did Eric? Maybe. I doubt it.
No, I just thought it was because of the mess that happened that got X taken out.
That was X's own doing. Nothing
Yeah,
related.
so Eric didn't control that vote.
Oh God, no. It was
Okay.
mainly Connie.
So what I'm hearing with this is that none of them really controlled their own fate for the most part to get to where they are. Is that is that a fair assessment?
I'd say so.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get into Brian's game, when obviously the first thing they're going to be able to do is have opening statements and talk about their game. How will we feel if any of them tried to claim they did more than any of you believe they did? Are we going to believe them at first, or is it just going to be immediate that is incorrect?
I want
I
to
think
listen.
for me, it depends on which round they're trying to claim.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to
think
listen to
that-
why they say it.
I think that Jason, I'm definitely the most interested in hearing about his game because I feel like I know Eric and Brian's pretty well. So Jason's the one I'm really want to hear if he really did take control on anything.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's delve into Brian then. Let's talk about I feel like I already know I already feel like I know the answer to this first one. Did Brian talk to people? Because based on what I've heard so far, I feel like I know the answer to this.
Can I just go first on this?
Lee, please.
Okay. From my perspective, he lost me since pre-merge. Well, since merge, when Jared told me, when basically Brian told him that he was giving up his game for Jared, he lost me. Is that true, Jared? Did he really say that?
Yeah.
He lost me.
Right, and without sending screenshots.
Like, people giving up their games for other people, especially like at that point, no, you lost me. And he didn't really talk to me that much. He's nice, but like, it just gave me very purple at it.
It was really interesting to me how, like, you know, he was very obviously, like, he had his own org going on, and I think we all knew that, like, it was stepping up right at the end. And so, like, those rounds he was gone, like, there were rounds that, like, I just didn't see him. He didn't show up to, like, challenge, whatever. But it was definitely really interesting to see how, like, he swooped back in at the end and like won 2 comps in a row and was like, no, like, Jared, I'm taking you out because like you have multiple final 3s and all this kind of stuff.
Okay,
But at the same time, that did sting me though, because if that's the one thing I think he should have thought of was he just did this open statement, and then that led to us having this long like the longest conversation we've ever had in the DMs, just going back and forth about it. So I think that wasn't good jury management either. I mean, you can make this big show about it, but in the end, he stung, like, that hurt his chance of getting my vote.
He definitely talked to me. Obviously, like, there were periods I didn't hear from him, but like, I would send him messages and he would like send reactions to them. So I knew that he was still seeing like whatever I was talking about, which was kind of nice.
So question, was Brian taking out Jared his move? Like, was that his big move that he could be noted for?
I don't think so, because I mean, first off, it was a failed move in the final 5.
Okay.
And then final 4, I mean, you could possibly credit it for him blowing up my game, but if their alliance truly was already in place, then there was, even if he didn't blow up my game, they were still going to take me out.
So let me
I want to know if that alliance is real.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because that seems like the weirdest group of 3.
I agree.
Let me ask this. Does winning his 2 challenges even mean anything if he's just gonna magically come back active and win 2 challenges to make final 3? Because like that's,
I don't think it matters, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I want to clarify that. So he won final 5 and final 4?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that matters, to be honest, just because of his perception as being this not inactive, but like he would go on his spurts where he would disappear. You know what I mean? To the point where he could be seen as an easy drag to the end to be beaten kind of thing. My extent with Brian was, hey, let's stop voting for each other. It's all good. I'm staying loyal to my people. That was pretty much it. Except for the round where I did stop voting him and he voted me out. Am I mad about it? No.
I think we put him in the group. I think he was in the group.
He was in the group, he told me.
But
He sure was.
So my point is, I don't think it really mattered at that point.
Let me ask Jared and Lyndon, do you believe that he needed those immunities at the end, or did it not really matter whether he was safe or not? He was not going to get voted.
I think a lot of people think he was an easy pull to the end because it's kind of like he wasn't active. He probably won't get a lot of votes, which I had a whole conversation with Jared about this, where I was like, I think it's bullshit to pull somebody to the end if they're like completely inactive, because like, honestly, they deserve the win over somebody taking an easy win. Like, in my personal opinion, I'd rather have a challenge at the end than like, I'll just win easy peasy, and it never works like that. So
I think for Zach, or not for Zach, for Eric, at least the way he was pitching, like because he was telling me we were going to go to Final 3 together. And he was like, it'll pretty much be between us two. So I think that in his Final 3 scenario, whoever the person next to him and Brian was, it would be his competition. So I want to be like, if it was a Final 2, that'd make more sense.
Okay.
Okay. Ashton, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
I'm trying to think how the word does. I agree with a lot that has been said. It also doesn't help that his time zone is like really different than most of ours too. Because I believe he was like from Singapore, and like it could play a major effect on like how often he was able to talk to people and like be around for the challenges and stuff.
Are we cutting him slack for that, or does it not matter?
Oh no. I'm not. I won't give him slack for that. I'm just was pointing that out.
Yeah.
I think for not having a long continuous conversation, I cut him slack due to the time zones, because it's very hard to have long continuous conversations with somebody who is like, it's 6 a.m. and I'm about to go to work. And for me, it's like 9 p.m. and I'm about to go to sleep. So
Yeah.
that was like where I would cut slack. But like, I will say, Brian, I probably, even though we didn't talk a ton, he easily was like the sweetest person I talked to in the game.
Mhm.
Like,
I feel like he was like that with everybody.
yeah. But I mean, I think that's like something to be said too,
Yeah.
of his personality. He
Mhm.
was very, very nice.
Are we
Like-
gonna take that as genuine? Do we believe that he was genuinely this kind of
Honestly,
person?
I believe it as genuine.
Yeah.
He comes across, you know, there's some people that like put on the happy with everybody that it comes across as fake, but with him, like, it genuinely felt real every time. Like, I told him one round, like, I'm voting for you this round because I think you should go. And you know, the next round he was like, I don't want to vote you out because I still really like you. So like,
Mhm.
he was just a very genuine person, I think.
I can never do that.
Oh, the thing about his game that like you can choose to play the game however you want. He told me very early on, like he wasn't going to do anything with idols. That wasn't his gameplay. And I think he plays more of what we would consider like an old school game of Survivor, just like straight and narrow.
Okay.
With how he
Well,
wanted to.
well, let's delve a little more into that. Like, let's. I feel like we've said what we need to. We're social. We already commented a little bit on the game. Let's go a little more in depth with there. We're already commenting that it was an old school game. How do we feel about the way that Brian went about playing the game, or based on what I'm hearing so far, did he play the game?
Can I talk because I haven't about Brian yet?
Please, Timmy.
Okay. I just want to jump back to social really quick, just because I hadn't said anything. I had not talked to the man since round 1 because he would just literally respond. He wouldn't respond. He would just do like an emoji or something, or like just react to it, which to me would be like, okay, bookmark it, say I've read it, and then he'll respond later. No. And I tried to like, you know, respond to, like, or just like say something to him again, just like never anything ever. So to me, he's completely invisible because I do not know him. I do not know anything about him because he did not talk to me. And while communication is a two-way street, I tried. And you can only try so hard.
Same.
And as far as it goes for old school game, I think you have to play the game to be considered an old school game. And I just don't see how he played the game when he wasn't around at all, especially missing a lot of challenges. And I missed a few too, but like, it happens. But like, he was not around to talk strategy, like, or whatsoever. It was just like, hey, well, I guess this is what's happening. I guess we're just not going to talk, be what it may. And he was definitely someone that's easy to take to the end because I don't see how he can try to put up a fight tomorrow at Roundtable Council. I don't think there's anything he could say to be like, I did this or I did this, because like, no, I just can't picture him doing anything in a way.
Is that a sentiment that other people here share, or is that something that only Timmy feels?
Honestly, from the 2 tribal councils I've been with this man, Jared tells him a name and he just does it. Like,
Yeah.
no questions asked. Like, he just did it. So, like, kind of get a goat vibe from him.
My question though to everybody here is, let's say he owns that fact and the other two are trying to make up, like they pulled up all these big moves that we all know they didn't do. Would that change anything for you guys? Or like,
Honestly, I'd respect it.
I've thought long and hard about that. Because at first I was like, yeah, I respect that because like on what you did. But at the same time, I'm just like, you can own what you did, but if you did is nothing, then I can't rule or deal with a vote because you spent all this time doing nothing. You could and be like, yeah, I did nothing, woohoo. But it's like, then of course you were gonna get to the end. And like, I get the whole why, because I said before, like, why change your game if you know you're gonna get to the end? But the answer to that is to put up a fight to actually get votes.
I think I think what Zach just said is actually quite interesting. I'd like to delve a little more into that. Like, let's say we believe that Jason played a game. We believe Eric has something resembling a game. From what I'm hearing, Brian hasn't had too much of a game. If Brian owns the fact that like everything that he did, which what I'm hearing is not too much, but Jason and Eric try to embellish more about what they did or straight up believe or not understand their perception from what you guys believe, will that change? It might not change something for Tay, but will change something for the rest of you.
I'm gonna be honest. If like Brian owns his shit and like those other two try to gaslight me and try to make me look crazy thinking they done more than what they actually did, then I would consider voting for Brian because he actually owned his stuff.
I mean, for me, I think that I would want, if we're seeing that, I want us to like call them out and be like, okay, listen, here's the bullshit. That's what I would
let's
hope
not
from
try to
us.
gaslight us. Thank you.
And if they still like don't respond well to that, like I think we all are like, I'd rather have somebody be honest about their game. But like honestly, at the current moment, I think Brian does have a solid like support with me. Like,
Okay.
I think what's something that's important to note is that also our perceptions could be wrong as well.
Well, I can like, I was the last person vote who came in, and like I didn't know this perception of Eric at all. Like I was genuinely gonna wanting to go to the finals with him, not knowing that all this shit about him. So it was a genuine, I got to know him, I wanted to go to the end with him kind of thing. So I think that's going to play a big factor of they don't know that all you guys are mad at them for whatever reason.
I bet Jason knows that I'm a little upset, but
Yeah, he might, but
I feel
Eric,
like
I don't think he does.
I'm not even like Eric. I can't wait for people to talk about Eric.
He ain't getting my fucking vote.
So okay, we've talked about everyone. I am interested. How many people here have their vote just locked towards one person in particular? Is there anyone who like there is one person that they know they're going to vote? We don't say it out loud, but like no. Jared says no. Zach no. Lyndon no. Lee, no.
I was until this happened.
So this changed your mind
a little bit.
Okay, Ashton no.
No, not at all.
And Timmy?
No, but I was in between two people coming in, and now I'm between two different people.
Okay.
I'm between the two same people. So
is the vibe though like is anyone I've heard two. Is anyone considering all three still?
Oh no.
Hell
No.
there is a
One of them
specific
needs to go to
person
jail.
that I think burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
With the way they treated some people, and I think that's a big factor for a lot of people.
I mean, I will, because I know you're talking about Eric. Just gonna. I think my struggle is like I sympathize with Aston, and I never want anyone to go through what they went through, because no one should ever be talked to like that. My struggle is just like my experience with him. He was just extremely nice to me, and so that's why I'm weighing that compared to what I'm hearing. So I'm interested to hear what he has to say. That's why I'm still like, and I work so closely with him. That's why like I'm still weighing him as an option.
I heard he was also messy towards people in the pre-merge phase, from what I've heard from Tawny and
I mean, he was messy with the Jackson vote off.
What do we mean messy towards the people in the pre-merge? Like, what exactly does that entail? I mean,
I just heard he was just being disrespectful towards some people.
Those I feel like.
I didn't even hear about him being disrespectful.
So this has been a trend with Eric is what's going on. It's been hasn't like he started one way and it went to a different, like this has been a continuous way he's been acting throughout the entire game.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like it definitely. My partner is non-binary, so when I hear people like being kind of rude to people that are different, I get upset. I get very defensive. So I think that definitely has impacted me some there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I didn't know about any of like.
Yeah, I had
the
no
game
idea
perception.
about
I had no
that.
idea about that.
I only know what happened with Aston and some of the pre-merge people.
I was never told about any of it.
Yeah, I didn't know till I got to jury that I had heard a little bit from Aston, like in game, but not a whole ton yet.
I mostly kept it to myself because I didn't want it to like influence anything.
You
Or-
gotta. We don't like people that are kind of mean in works.
Mhm.
Yeah, Aston, so I'll just say to you that is like completely disregarding anything. At the end of the day, that is the game. Like it might be like on a personal level, but in the end, that's happening within the confines of the game. Talk to literally, even if you don't want to talk to the players, always talk to someone about it because it is important. Do not like, don't make it like your fault or don't feel like you don't have a right to talk about it. There are people that will listen. Please never be afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, some people definitely need to give an apology to Aston because Eric wasn't the only one. It was also Mac. From my experience on the Purple Parrots, like the Purple Parrots was honestly a negative experience.
I feel like I feel like this was a very productive conversation. I feel obviously it changed Lee's mind, so it had to have done.
Let's go.
It's done something.
Yeah.
And you can't really change my mind either.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised to hear that, Lee. Knowing that your mind has changed, I am really shocked that you've actually been.
I've evolved, kinda. I was kind of petty in the Ponderosa chat. I'll own it.
Oh, reading that shit was so good.
I was so nasty.
I still need to go back.
I was so vile.
Is there anything else that we didn't have a chance to touch on that feel that anyone wants to talk on before we
Okay,
wrap this up?
I have a question since it was kind of talked about. So Eric basically tried to take credit from my blind side. So what actually happened?
I think I don't. What did happen with that?
Yeah,
round?
what
I
happened?
got told that the
Oh.
vote was now you by like Timmy or Zach, and I was like, okay.
But what
Well, no,
caused
Lyndon, we
that to
decided
happen?
it. We decided it that morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
And I can tell you why I started saying
What
your name.
happened? Let's talk about
Okay.
it.
Lee, I started saying your name because I was tired of the whole narrative of not voting any green monkeys, like OG green monkeys, especially because there was a swap and stuff.
Mhm.
And you were the one, from my perspective, leading that charge because you were the one always saying, "I will
I
never vote out
wasn't
a
the
green
only
monkey."
one, sister, but that's
No, but
that's
you
okay.
were the most public about it.
Okay, I respect it. I respect that.
And can I just go off that for a quick second? I just hated the OG green versus OG red thing. And that's one of the
Me too.
that's one of the only reasons I'm gonna give Eric a positive in my book.
And I only said
Because-
that because I didn't want to be the first person to like say a green monkey's name. I was 100% open to vote anyone out, by the way.
that was just one thing. That's the only reason I consider Eric, but like I'm leaning towards probably no still. That's where I'm at.
I mean, at least from my perspective of it, like Sierra and I do apologize, Aston, for not speaking to you more. They were just the two people who I spoke to the least. So that's why I was targeting them the first two votes. And really after that, it didn't have to be another red after that because Zach, we had our wonderful relationship, and
You mean
me telling you Aston and
but every round, yeah.
And the funny
Um,
thing is, though, about the round I left, like I was talking with Eric about voting Timmy or Lyndon, and like Eric was 100% down for that.
Never.
Oh, and I would have shut that down.
Oh, saying
Exactly. Nobody wanted to get rid of me or
Yeah.
Timmy yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I was
fun.
shutting that down left and right.
I mean, I didn't push it because I wasn't writing down their names either, but it was just interesting.
I think like I was on whatever the other name was your round, and until somebody just said the majority is on Lee, and I was like, okay.
But
I was like, that always intrigued. That always.
And then I went back to
I found
coughing along.
interesting, Lyndon.
Oh yeah, like sometimes even like my closest allies would talk about a name, and I'd be like, I don't like this name, so I'm just gonna refuse to acknowledge it until I have to.
You should have said that with my round, sis.
I
remember
had
when
COVID.
Hey, remember when you told me to vote Eric? The around Alley was going. Me too, Lyndon. And I
I
did.
was like, even if Lyndon didn't vote you, it would have been a 5-4-1.
No, I know. I'm just being petty.
Not you, Zach. Lee.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
We should have went to Rocks. I would have picked up a
Oh,
walk
I
away.
was so mad. I was
I
so
am so
that's why I
upset we
wanted
never went to
Allie out.
rocks. I feel like you guys can just stop recording now. I feel like we're just gonna go off on tangents.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe are we good then? Like, are we?
Are we
I'm
I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
People should have gone to Rocks for making it fun.
I mean, if there's nothing else I want to like, then I'll
Yeah.
throw back to Seb and Grace for a moment. See if there's anything else that needs to be said before
No.
this ends. Okay, so I'll throw Seb, Grace. Is there anything else that needs to be said before this gets wrapped up?
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Oh.
I kind of, after listening to this, I want to say this to Aston and other people who were affected by Eric's actions that took place. I want, and even Mac, now that Mac is being mentioned as well, just know that Pride has all of your backs. Pride supports each and every one of you. Whenever something like that happens, if that would be good if we had knowledge on it happening and we could have taken action. We have all your backs. We also, like I said, we have your backs. We support you. And if something serious happened and somebody was harassing you on a personal level, we would have definitely have liked to know that was going on. As we are trying to create a very fun experience for each and every one of you, and that is just so negative and toxic for somebody to bring that energy in the game, we wouldn't want it to happen. So in a situation, like if something happens, like please let us know. We'll try to take care of it the best way we can.
I want to add to that. It is
Okay.
definitely super, super hard to bring up stuff like that because you don't want it to like make you seem a certain way in game or anything, but like
Yeah.
that does not matter. I think in my opinion, nobody in a game is going to like be mad at you for saying like this person was being really rude to me, or like this person is like literally like, I don't know, like misgendering you or like calling you slurs or whatever. Like nobody's, or like asking you for nudes or something. Like, you know, everybody's gonna understand in a game, and it's definitely really hard to do it. So like find your special person that you're really close with and tell them, and then they can tell Prod if you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, like but we want to apologize about that happening. I don't think nobody deserves to go through that at all. It is not okay to bring into a game atmosphere when everybody's trying to have fun, enjoying their passion of Survivor, and like there's no room to put up with that bullshit at all. No room. But yeah, anytime there's an issue or you got, even after this season, like we still have y'all's back. If there's any issues or anything happening, like our messages are open at all times. I just want to say that out there. And then the second thing is back to game related. Yes, so final tribal council will be at 8 p.m. They are going to have 7 minutes to give you opening and closing statements, and each of you will have 10 minutes to ask all 3 of them questions. And if you
Last.
you guys would pick an order to like work on have a working order tonight and have it picked out before final tribal council starts, we would definitely appreciate that, so we can know which juror is going to talk and we can move on, know who to move on to next.
Can we just do first juror to last juror?
Hey, Lyndon, can I go last? Because I'm gonna be at work all day tomorrow and I want to
Oh.
say a few things.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to do a recorded.
Yeah, so Zach and I think, are the last two to get out of work.
Okay.
So
that's
I
fine.
leave my job at like 5:20-ish PST, so like 8:15-ish EST. Tomorrow's my first day back in 2 weeks, so I feel like there might be a little bit of social talking before I go home because everybody's gonna be like, holy shit, you're finally back.
Mhm.
So like saying I leave there at like 8:30 EST, I'll get home around 6:30 EST. But I can also do it in the car. But if
Yeah.
I can still go like at the end, that would be really nice. Just like,
I can go
To
first
help.
for y'all.
I was gonna say,
yay.
yeah.
I can go first. I was the first juror. I'll go first. I'm gonna throw some reads at Eric, but Aston, I'll save you some room to throw some reads at him too.
Yeah.
I think that we
But-
should keep it to where like Zach and Lyndon are just like whoever's there first can go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, that besides, I was gonna ask this first, besides Lyndon and Zach, are there any scheduling conflicts with anybody else with this?
I'm off tomorrow.
No.
I'm good whenever.
I think Allie will be fine too. So in the situation that things run faster than they actually do, Lyndon and Zach, you guys can send a video just in case it happens to land on you. But I don't think it will, but just in case, that would be great.
I'll send you guys my phone number. So you can just text me like if it's going early and I'm not on my phone. I should be like
Yeah.
once I'm in the car, I should be paying attention from my phone and you'll like know I'm around. But if I'm not, I'll send my phone number and then you can just text me. That's what we did in BB Disney for the finale. Madison called me and said,
But
put your vote in, bitch. And I said,
Oh.
got it.
Girl.
Alrighty, well, I think besides what I've had to say, I think that's all I have right now. Does my other two prod members that are here, do y'all have anything at all?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for making the season very enjoyable. And thank you guys, obviously, for just being here for the roundtable. Thank you, Keaton, for running it. I really appreciate it.
Yay, Keaton.
Yeah, y'all got
Slay.
Keaton. He took time out to come host this for you guys, moderate for you guys.
I was asked fucking yesterday during the fucking Generation Eric mini.
And then he texted me and said, I'm breaking into Distortion. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
It was
Keaton?
after I was added, so I waited.
He's popping out of a treasure chest and entering the game on day 37.
Damn.
Maybe
Just
he'll
like
better
with that,
chance-
Vestavia
if that-
did.
and maybe based on what I
with
heard, had
that,
better
that
chance in the final
means-
3.
All right, let's-
Honestly, I would have voted for Keaton to win. I
Yeah,
would have.
thanks, guys.
Right, you can stop the recording.